Lauren, you are live.
A very good morning to everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the world you are. Welcome to our early morning dive here in Grand Cayman. Now, I'm Lauren. We have the awesome Rian on camera, and we have Simone on the surface. So right now we are at Devil's Grotto, one of my favorite places to dive, and I am currently at 8.5 meters. So the temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, which is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So the visibility today is incredibly bad. Visibility just means how far ahead in front of me I can see. And unfortunately, it's not very far. But we're still going to have a great dive. We might stay a little bit shallower today, just so that we can see more. So over to you, Simone, for now.
Hey guys, I'm Simone and I'll be on the surface answering any of your questions and sending the questions down to Lauren. Yeah, the visibility doesn't look too good. Now don't forget to hashtag diveLIVE on Twitter and on our Facebook page, diveLIVE. You can talk in our Facebook chat as well as the YouTube.
Some scribbled filefish over here, Rian. Let's check them out. Sorry, Simone.
No, that's fine. I know scrawled filefish are your favorites.
They are. There was 3 of them all grouping together, but I think they've just split up.
Ooh. Now we can see all these things flying at us. That is the plankton that is lowering the visibility today.
Yeah, the visibility is very poor, but that doesn't mean it won't be a fantastic dive. So Rian is on the filefish.
Yeah, we can see them, 2 of them in the center.
Can you see the 2 of them together?
Yes, they look very, very relaxed, and we can see the vibrant colors actually really well. They have very cool patterning.
Yeah, so they have different names in different parts of the world, but it kind of all has the same meaning. It's either scrawled filefish or scribbled filefish. And this particular species is actually one of the largest in the family. They can go up to 100 centimeters, but these ones are particularly small. And there's actually 4 of them. But I'm not sure if you'll be able to see all 4 of them.
We can, yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, we can see them all swimming in the same direction. Oh, and there we've got a beautiful focus shot of one of those scrawled files. Is there 5 of them?
What was that, Simone?
I think there might be 5 of them.
Oh, you can probably see better than me.
Wow, that's so interesting. We don't normally get to see so many of them swimming together like this.
Yeah, filefish are my favorite. One of my favorites, sorry, I should say one of my favorites.
It's hard to choose.
They are called filefish because they do have little spines on their scales, which we can't actually see. But back in the day, a lot of fishermen used to catch these fish, dry them out in the sun, and then use their skin as almost sandpaper to polish up the boats. And that's where the name filefish comes from.
Ah, there you go. So they've got very, very rough skin, and I can imagine a predator probably doesn't want to try and bite through some rough skin like that.
Simone, your volume's very quiet. Is it possible to make an adjustment up there?
Yes, our tech guru is going to be working on it for you right now.
Thank you.
That's okay. Tell me when it gets better for you.
That's much better. Thank you very much.
Awesome. You can't escape me that easily, Lauren. I'll chase you underwater.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to. So we have came deeper than I wanted to because we're giving you a great view of these filefish. They're still just hanging out. I can only see 4 at the minute. And there's some great chubs ahead of us as well. So we have 4 chubs. Sorry, 5. A porcupine fish.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah,
so a lot of fish just hanging out here.
And we can see the porcupine's big eyes from this far away. It's huge.
So this one is sort of just, it's coming right towards the camera.
Wow, and we can see he's using his very altered, highly modified fins at the back to swim. So that's quite peculiar for a lot of fish to swim this way.
Yeah, we do talk about porcupine fish a lot, but that is just because they are absolutely incredible animals. And they are often, I guess, incorrectly called puffer fish because they do puff up. but they aren't part of the pufferfish family. They do stand on their own, and they just have all these amazing means of self-defense. And in order to have all these self-defense mechanisms, they've actually lost the ability to be graceful, agile swimmers. They're quite cumbersome and they can't swim very fast. So they can puff themselves up like a balloon by sucking in lots of water into these big stretchy stomachs that they have. And their skin on the outside can actually stretch up to 40%. It's made of collagen fibers, which allow for it to stretch into this big balloon. And they do have spines. I'm not sure if you'd be able to see them.
We definitely can see the spines.
Oh, really? Great.
Yeah.
So they lie against the skin, but when it puffs up, they stand erect, so it looks like a big spiky balloon, and that's where the name porcupine fish does come from. So they actually lack a pelvic bone, and they're missing some ribs, and that's how they're able to expand without sort of breaking any bones. Oh, it's so cute.
It is very cute, and Heidi was exclaiming that it has very cute eyes, and it looks like it's smiling at us, and it does always have that goofy smile.
Yeah, I do always say it reminds me of my dog. It really does. And I think it is the big eyes.
A CJ was wondering, it's unhealthy to make them puff up though, right? And yes, it is very unhealthy to make them puff up. You should never try and stimulate them or make them afraid, because I believe they can only puff up a few times in their life before it starts really damaging them.
Yeah, they do puff up. They are designed to do that for self-defense, but it takes them a long time to recover to normal weight. It actually takes 5.6 hours for these fish to return to normal metabolic rate. So when they're defleeting, it isn't easy for them to get rid of the water like it is for them to suck it in. And when they're defleeting, they're extremely weak, extremely tired, and this is when they become really, really vulnerable. A tired fish is an easy catch for any predators.
It certainly is, and our very own Lauren took an amazing photo of a porcupine fish. Oh, there's a zero.
Yeah, big zero.
Took an amazing photo of a porcupine fish stuck. Oh, sorry, was it a pufferfish, Lauren? Actually,
it was a porcupine fish. You're right.
A porcupine fish stuck in the mouth of a shark, and so that shark actually suffocated. It couldn't do anything because it was stuck in its mouth.
It was such an amazing moment, but a very sad one. An adult lemon shark, female, has obviously just made the wrong mistake and attempting to eat this porcupine fish, which actually would be possible for sharks, but the porcupine fish was obviously aware of it, and just as it swallowed the porcupine fish, it blew up and expanded in its mouth and suffocated the shark. And unfortunately, both these amazing animals died. An incredible thing to see.
Sorry, we just had a few audio issues there, but we're back on track.
I did hear that.
Sorry. So we do have a lot of questions about this amazing animal.
Sure.
Proud Cat Mama wants to know, is this porcupine fish poisonous?
Yes, it is. That's a great question. So, as well as I mentioned the fact that they blow up like a balloon and they do have spines, they actually have a third defense, and that's that they have a toxin in their body, a tetrodotoxin, which can actually be 1,200 times more potent than cyanide. So it's incredibly poisonous, and it tends to sort of congregate in the ovaries and the liver. And they actually get this inside of their bodies from different food that they eat. It accumulates inside of them. And it is a delicacy in different parts of Asia to eat this fish. I think especially Japan. And the chefs that cook it actually have to be certified and go through a course to learn how to cook this fish and remove the toxic flesh. So I definitely eat that.
Yeah, I think it would be a bit of living dangerously to be consuming that fish. It's a lot of trust you put in someone.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural thing as well.
Yeah.
Oh, look at it. It's giving us a good view, and you can see that sort of saggy looking skin underneath. All that extra skin, so it's ready to expand whenever it feels threatened.
Don't call him saggy, you'll offend him. Yeah, and we can see that it has a heart-shaped eyeball. So this heart-shaped eyeball lets a lot of light in. It's very modified, so it can hunt during the night as well.
Another amazing fact I learned about these guys is actually because they're able to suck in water so rapidly to pump up their stomach, they're actually able to suck in a little bit of water for play as well. And they're able to spurt it out when they want to sort of play with their prey. So when they're messing around, they'll just spurt jets of water at their prey before they eat them, which is incredible.
Yeah, fish are very playful. They have a lot of characteristics and like charisma as well. Very sweet. And I love watching it maneuver around the reef. It looks like it's a little bit clumsy, but it's still not a sitting duck for prey because everyone has learned on this reef, let's not eat this guy. He's not going to be tasty, and it's going to be very hard to chow him down.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's actually one species, I can't remember the name of the species, but they've actually focused so much on developing these defense mechanisms that they've actually lost a lot of the digestive function of their stomach. So a stomach's purpose is to digest your food, and their stomachs work so poorly at digestion because their body has focused on all these different self-defense mechanisms.
Yeah, it's evolutionary trade-offs at its finest. So, I mean, even humans, we've lost a lot of, functions to give us a larger head. It's the same for these animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't have it all, unfortunately. But I would definitely vote this is the cutest creature on the reef.
Yeah, I do love porcupine fish.
But you guys should tell us what you think the cutest creature on the reef is. I would love to know.
What I think what?
What do you think the cutest creature on this reef is?
The cutest? Oh my goodness, that's such a difficult question. Probably the porcupine fish. Look at his little piggy. And it does remind me of my dog for so many reasons. Especially the fact that it can blow up like a balloon. Yeah, I think this one wins. What about you, Simone?
Yeah, I think the porcupine fish or even a Peterson's cleaning shrimp because I think they are very cute as well. And you can see he's just really relaxed at the moment. You know, if he was disturbed by any means, it would be very obvious. He would obviously inflate, or he can swim away quite fast. They do look a little bit clumsy, but they can escape. So I don't think.
That's a great point, Simone. It's definitely not threatened just now. It's completely relaxed. If it was threatened, we would definitely be aware of it.
Oh yeah.
And if you look at the mouth, they actually have all their teeth on the top and bottom jaw have fused together. So they're actually part of a group of fishes called the Diodontidae, and that just means two teeth. So it literally looks like they just have two teeth. So these rows have fused together. And it's a great adaptation because they can actually crunch through their hard-shelled prey. Porcupine fish do not eat other fish. They only eat your mollusks and your crustaceans, all sorts of animals that have a really hard shell. And you can actually see these teeth if you look closely at the mouth.
Yeah, he's giving us a very good view of his mouth, his smiley teeth at the moment. But it would be very strong. He has such a large head that the mandibles and the muscles in there are very, very strong, and he can crush shells. So it's got a very crushing mouth. And we can see a fairy basslet is swimming around him. That's the purple and yellow fish, for anybody wondering.
Yeah, we do love our fairy basslets. The fish life is really good today, even though the visibility is poor. There's definitely a lot of fish around the stream.
Yeah, I mean, the plankton that we are seeing at the moment, it is food for these animals. So it is tiny pieces of plants and tiny pieces of, anything. It can be eggs, it can be juvenile fish. So it's raining food for these animals. They're very, very happy at the moment.
So you can see right in front of me, I have a row of 3 black durgans. Can you see that?
Oh, wow, yes.
Oh, no, sorry, there's a lot of black durgans.
Wow, we're getting amazing colours. We don't normally get this good colouring on these black durgans.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were able to see that, but they are black, and they have these amazing orange markings on their sort of snout area. So I can count 10 individuals right in front of us right now. How unusual.
Yeah, we never are able to get this close, so this is really special.
It's going to be a fishy day.
That's a good thing. And you can see how similar they are. They swim to the filefish that we saw previously.
Yes, they're very closely related, but the black durgans are part of the triggerfish family. And I'm not sure why they're all schooling together at the minute.
I think they're probably all enjoying all the food and the activity on the reef. It is morning here in Grand Cayman, so it's time for them to wake up and start eating. Almost like a family coming for breakfast.
Yeah, and we do have an angelfish up ahead.
Oh.
I think it's a queen angelfish. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
They show you French angelfishes a lot, but it's a little bit harder to show you the queen angelfish, and we have one up ahead right now having a munch on a sponge. Did you see that?
We did see that. So that's the queen angelfish, the very vibrantly coloured yellow and blue fish.
And the reason I wasn't so sure at the start is that the queen angelfish and the blue angelfish are actually able to breed together and make a hybrid called the Townsend angelfish, which looks very similar, so I wasn't sure there, but it's definitely the queen. And it's called the queen because it has a big blue marking on its forehead, which looks like a crown.
Yeah, we have royalty on the reef today. I hope you know how to curtsy, Lauren.
Yes. Is that a stingray up ahead there?
Ooh.
The visibility is pretty bad, so I'm not sure.
That's all right. We can join the adventure with you. I mean, hopefully we see something. I mean, we've been seeing so many fish today.
I don't think it's a stingray, is it? No, it's just a bunch of fish pretending to look like a stingray.
Well, when there is low visibility, I always think, oh my gosh, a manta ray swimming towards me.
Yeah, that's exactly what just happened to me. But while we're out here on the sandy patch, are you getting a view of the garden eels?
Yeah, we are. So right ahead of us, we do have some goatfish and barjacks. But then in the background, there are some small little black noodles, I call them. They're actually eels.
So the reason I thought that was a stingray is because these goatfish are using little barbels under their chin to dig into the sand, which creates a sort of plumage of sand, which is exactly what stingrays do. And there's always a barjack hanging around. That's exactly why I thought it was a stingray. But this barjack is obviously taking advantage of the goatfish for a change. A smart guy. Yeah,
so he's just being lazy and getting some food that the goatfish are whipping up. Oh.
Got a big mutton snapper.
Ah, that was huge. How big would you say that mutton snapper was?
About 50, 60 centimeters.
Ah. So quite large. They get really large on this reef because there is just so much food around. And now we have an awesome question from Tom. Tom is wondering, are we able to age corals?
Are we able to age corals?
Corals, yes.
Yes and no. Normally it's probably a bit of an estimation or approximation. Generally when it comes to hard coral, we tend to age it by size. So using the different growth rates, we can sort of put an estimation by size. If it's a really, really big colony, then we tend to say that it will be very, very old. But different coral grows at different rates. So the staghorn coral, the branching-like coral, which if I see, I'll show you. they grow much faster. They can go up to 10 centimeters per year. But the sort of boulder-like corals, maybe like this brain one here, sorry about the Halloween look.
Oh yeah, we've got that brain coral on the right.
Yeah, so they are much more slower growing. So estimates can be given to coral using the sort of growth rates and the size of the colony. I hope that answers your question.
I think it definitely would. Lauren's very knowledgeable about these corals, and we see this brain coral ahead of us. It's a very, it's called a stony coral because it is so firm. And it actually builds the reefs that we see. So the leftover skeletons will constantly build up all of these huge reef projections.
Hard coral is sometimes overlooked because it generally doesn't tend to be as colourful, or even, should I say, as beautiful as, soft coral. So people tend to overlook it, but it's incredibly important. And like someone said, this whole coral reef that we are looking at right now is built from hard corals, growing over thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah, and I think Pat was telling me that the oldest corals are around 900 years old. Well, some of the oldest that we know of. Oh, and we've got some staghorn coral on the left.
Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I was going to show you. So, eagle-eyed Simone and Rian spotted that. There's quite a big colony, actually, of staghorn coral. And this particular species is Acropora cervicornis. And you can see that it's staghorn straight away just from the appearance of it. It's branching. It looks like a tree. So we use the general term staghorn coral. And the particular species is a little bit more difficult when it comes to coral, but this is the predominant, I think the only staghorn coral that we get in the Caribbean. And if you're able to just take a tiny little look at the end of each branch, there's a white tip, and there's one single coral polyp growing there, and that's how we are able to identify that as Acropora.
Yeah, we can see the tips come to that point, and that's the polyp that Lauren is referring to. But Proud Cat Mama was wondering, how does land-based pollution threaten coral reefs?
Can you repeat that question, Simone?
No problem. How does land-based pollution threaten coral reefs?
Oh, absolutely. So corals are under threat from so many different factors, but sometimes what we tend to forget is the land and the ocean are completely intertwined. They're completely connected. So a lot of things that happen on the land will inevitably affect the ocean. And any pollution on the land that does maybe seep into the ground or the sediment inevitably ends up in the ocean. We do have a really big fish being cleaned here, Rhea. I don't know what fish it is just yet. The visibility is at that.
Oh, so we have a black Durgan in the center of the screen.
Oh, it's a big grouper. I think Rianne's missed it.
That's okay. We keep on the search with you.
So yeah, going back to your question, what happens on land completely and directly affects the health of the ocean. And World Ocean Day was just the other day, maybe 2 days ago now, I think. I get lost in the days. And the theme was plastic, and that's an interesting one because even if plastic were to be littered on the ground, on land, normally 90% of the time it ends up in the ocean. So it's a great theme for World Ocean Day.
And Clifford was wondering, are corals important to the reef?
Yes, they are. Corals are what make up the reef. The reef wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the corals. So when they settle and they grow here, they are what make the structure of the reef. So yeah, they're super important.
Yeah. And as you can see, so many fish are using them at the moment for their protection, as well as for a food source. They produce huge amounts of oxygen for the world. It's amazing the amount of diversity that is in in a coral reef system and how important it really is?
So the diversity in the Caribbean is not as much as it is in the Indo-Pacific, but there still is about 65 different species of hard coral here, and between 500 to 700 different species of reef. So there's so much diversity here, it's just incredible. It would be really difficult to learn the names of each and every one of the corals. I do try, but that is why we sort of put a general term on them. For example, boulder coral, or brain coral, or staghorn coral, because it makes it just a little bit easier for us.
Yeah, it certainly does. And a lot of the corals need identification under a microscope as well. So unfortunately, I don't think... Lauren, have you got a microscope in your BCD somewhere?
No, unfortunately, there's not.
Yeah, so it is a little bit hard.
So I am looking out for a moray eel. I've been looking for one for about 3 or 4 days now. I haven't been able to find it, so I'm not giving up. That's exactly what I want to show you today.
And morays are very hard to find. They are always in intricate cracks and crevices.
Yeah, and I would love to show you a turtle. It's been a few days now since I've had my turtle luck. Simone the other day was diving. I didn't know whether you tuned in or not, and she found the first male turtle. Oh, we have 2 species of angelfish here. We have the queen and the French.
Ah, so the queen is the blue and yellow one. I haven't seen the French one yet.
And the French, Rianne's about to give you a view of the French angelfish.
Absolutely gorgeous. So we know it's the French because of its yellow eyeshadow and yellow markings on its body.
This one's quite a small one. They normally get much bigger than this. This one's only about 25 centimeters, so it's probably just became sexually mature. It's still quite young. So you got to see the 2 different species of angelfish there. There is about 8 different species in the Caribbean, and as I mentioned, there is a hybrid species, which is a cross between 2 different angelfish.
Yeah, and we can see their body structure is very similar. So you have those trailing anal and dorsal fins, and if you turn them with their face up and their tail down, they look exactly like the angel you put on top of your Christmas tree.
I love that fact. I really never knew that until I met Simone. What great wondering where the names of the fishes actually come from.
I've always wanted to discover my own fish, and I can give it a very flamboyant name.
I'm sure you would.
Now you can see both of those angelfish were actually feeding on sponges.
Yeah, 90% of these angelfish diet comes from sponges. And sponges are wonderful, but they're so inedible. They're actually animals themselves, and they're made from glass spicules and silica. So they're a really inedible substance, but somehow the angelfish have obviously overcome that, and that's the predominant food in their diet.
And if they're chewing into glass, you can see their mouth right now. It's like a beak almost. It really has to kind of cut glass.
Yeah, they favor the vase sponge. If you ever look at a vase sponge and there's a big V, like cut out shape in the shape of a V, then that's been the angelfish having a good old munch on it.
And now keep an eye out on this damselfish at the bottom. I think he might be ready to chase off the angelfish. We'll just see what happens.
They never fail to make me laugh. For being one of the smallest fish on the reef, they are so incredibly confident and so boisterous. They are really not afraid to just come up and tell you to go away.
Now Clifford was wondering, how large can angelfish get?
Sorry, I just coughed underwater. I'm not sure I've ever done that before. I do apologize. This particular angelfish is a French angelfish, and this maximum size is 61 centimeters. But here on these reefs around the Grand Cayman, we normally find them at about 40 centimeters. And they become sexually mature around 25 centimeters. So that's also how we can judge or estimate the ages of the fish.
And these fish have been found to live over 27 years on a reef system. So
fish can live a lot longer than And the French angel, I think Rian keeps splitting between the queen and the French because there's just so many angelfish around here. It's actually polychromatic, so that means they have different colour phases throughout their life. But when they're a juvenile, they look completely different from the adult form. They don't look anything alike. So if you are new to fish identification, you probably can't even identify it as the wrong species. So the juveniles are obviously very small, and they're pure black with 5 bright yellow bars running down the body. They look nothing like their adult counterparts. And they start off their lives as cleaner fish. So they live on the cleaning station, and they clean clients until they get a little bit older. And I think there's 2 four-eyed butterflyfish right in front of the camera as well.
yeah, it's been very beautiful. So now we are seeing these 4-eyed butterflyfish. And a French angelfish. Oh, wow, it's all happening down there. It's awesome. And we see these 2 different species of angelfish. But there are actually a few others on the reef. There's also the grey angelfish.
We rarely see that one here, do we?
Yeah, I honestly have never seen one on this reef. And then we also get the Bermuda blue angelfish as well. And then there's a rock beauty.
Well, that was great because the butterfly fish that you saw are really, really, really closely related to the angelfish. They're sort of cousins, if you like. And they can sometimes get confused because they both have really similar shapes, bodies, flat and disc-like, and they're both sort of able to flutter themselves into the cracks and crevices of the reef. So that was the 4-eyed butterflyfish we just saw, and the and French angelfish.
And we actually have the banded butterflyfish in the center now.
Oh, yeah!
Yay! We never see them.
That one.
Yeah, they look awesome. You can see why they're called the banded butterflyfish, and I would say they're generally a little bit bigger than the 4-spot butterflyfish that we saw prior.
This one's quite small, it's about 25 centimeters, and the bands going down the body, if you look closely, there's actually one going down right across the eye. Now, this is a really common feature in butterflyfish all around the world. They very often have this black bar going down their eye, and this is to disguise the eye, to almost hide it. So when the predator is after them, when they're fluttering, doing that swimming that they do, the predator will become confused, and it won't be sure where is the head and where is the tail. It's a pretty awesome thing.
And Love Dogs was wondering, why is it that we so rarely see juvenile versions of these fish?
Sorry, what was that?
That's all right. Why do we rarely see juvenile versions of these fish?
Well, they are very, very, very small, and they tend to hang out in the shallower areas of the reef for safety and protection. So we do see them when we're actually swimming out here, but we rarely see them on a live dive. Maybe we should do a shallow live dive soon.
Yeah, that would be cool, actually. I would love to. Yeah, they are very small and kind of tough because they can hide very quickly. You can imagine being tiny on a reef with all of these cracks and crevices. It pays off, but it means we can't show them to you very easily.
Yeah, and butterflyfish are actually a bioindicator species here. All that means is that they indicate something. So here they indicate the health of the reef. So if you have a reef with lots of butterflyfish, like we do here, then that tells us that this reef is actually really healthy. So it's so great that we're getting to see all these different fish. I knew it would be a fishy dive.
And TSIX Gaming was wondering, are we anywhere near the Caribbean?
Are we anywhere near what?
The Caribbean.
Yeah, we are in it.
Yeah, we are in it. This is, we're on the Grand Cayman Islands, which is in the Caribbean. So that's what...
the Caribbean Sea.
Yeah. So that's why we're getting lots of Caribbean reef fish here. Now, all around the world, different reefs can have different species of fish. If you go to, say, Australia, you'll see very, very different fish than the ones we are seeing here.
never know whether it's Caribbean or Caribbean.
I have no idea either. Oh wow, we're getting an awesome view of all the fish above the reef crest.
I'm glad you can see that because it is just teeming with life. We've got a giant school of the Krail Wrasse, which are the small blue ones, and we've also got the school of these big chubs.
And now the chubs are the big kind of blacky grey fish. And these are the Krail Wrasse busy schooling. They're the longer purple fish. And you can see they're all pretty much moving in unison together. And they flap their pectoral fins, their side fins, up and down like birds, almost like birds flocking together.
And that's a good point, actually. If Rian is able to sort of bring the camera my way, we often talk about fins, and it can be sometimes confusing. So I will try my best to be a fish right now and explain the fins. So Simone just mentioned the pectoral fin, and that's these ones here. So if I was a fish, this is a pectoral fin.
It's a beautiful fish.
Yeah, and the one normally going along the top, so if I was a fish, it would be running down the top end of my body. That is the dorsal fin. Now the tail fin, there's my tail fin. It can also be called the caudal fin, and that's obviously in the back end of the body. And normally when a fish is like this, it might have little fins here. This is a pelvic fin, and they might have a set towards the lower end of the body, which is an anal fin. So that's a little description for you when we're talking about the fins. But it can get confusing because many fish have adapted or evolved over time, and they can have changed this basic anatomy. For example, the moray eel, which I'm desperate to see, is a fish, but it has one long continuous fin running down its body. And this is actually a fusion of the dorsal, the anal, and the caudal tail all together. So fish have changed. And one last point, where the fish's body meets the fish's tail, which would be like my hips, I guess. This area is called the caudal peduncle, one of me and Rian's favourite words to say. So I had to share it with you.
Yeah, so again, that is the caudal peduncle.
Caudal peduncle, I just love it. So we did come a little bit deeper than planned because we saw all these fish, but I've just sighted an awesome school of blue tangs. So we're going to go ahead and join them.
I'm sure you'll get lost in the school. Now, while you're swimming over there, Lauren, you've been down for quite a while. Can we have an air check?
Absolutely. I am on 100 bar.
Awesome.
So I've got a little bit of time left with you all. And up ahead you should a big school of blue fish, well, a medium-sized school, that are crossing the reef really, really fast in order to eat all the algae. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see them stopping and having a chomp here and there, and they're also using their pectoral fins, their side fins, to swim as well. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's actually amazing that we've bumped into the blue tangs because, as I mentioned earlier about the polychromatism, where they have different colour phases, these blue tangs are so blue, and they're obviously called blue tangs, but when they're a juvenile, they are bright yellow, the colour of the sun. So it's just amazing that when they get older, they develop into a completely different looking fish. And I think they're accepting me here. I should use my pectoral fins as well.
Yes, you should. Now, Hilk is calling them the Blue Tang Clan, and I think that's a pretty good way to call them.
Name. And some of you might recognize this sort of shape of fish. They are in the surgeonfish family, and they're very closely related to that famous fish we know is dory. So it is quite an easy, recognizable fish. And another amazing thing about this species that I recently learned, to us they look blue, but they actually biofluoresce. So if we were to put them under UV light, they would appear completely and utterly green. not blue, nothing like blue. And this is what we think of as intraspecific communication. So we can't see it because our eyes are not able to see that spectrum of light, but fish can. They can see a whole different spectrum of colours that are not available to us. So when they look at each other, they will not see what we are seeing. They will see a green fish with a pattern on their body that reveals more about who they are. And we are completely unable to see that. Isn't that fantastic?
It really is. I mean, there are studies that show sharks and some fish recognize individuals, so they can have, you know, friends, and they'll hang out. Oh, wow. And we've got Krail Wrasse schooling. This is beautiful, Lauren.
Schools here swimming alongside one another.
Yeah, so this is the blue tang, similar to Dory from Finding Nemo, but it is not the exact same species for anyone wondering.
And normally when you see the blue tangs, they're just constantly feeding, constantly grazing on the algae. A bit like me, actually. And why they do that is because they're really not well adapted at digesting their food source. So algae is obviously like the marine plant, generally speaking, and they're not able to process the cellulose, which is a component of the algae. So that's why they have to eat and feed continuously, almost all day, to make up for the fact that they don't digest it well.
Yeah, and they also, we can see at their caudal peduncle, so that is the base of the tail and the body, there's actually a yellow line there. That's actually a very, very sharp blade, sharper than a scalpel of a surgeon. And so it is very hard for anything to try and eat them, because they will have to get around this blade. And Proud Cat Mama was wondering, what are the predators of the blue tang? So the predators can include really any large fish that can come in. But the thing is, the fish have to predate on them from the front. They cannot attack from behind because they will get cut. So you can imagine it'd be pretty hard to sneak up on your prey if you're coming from the front.
Exactly, and especially the fact that they're generally almost always in big schools like this. They have safety in numbers. It's much more difficult to feed on a fish that's in a school like this.
And there are lots of different sizes, from the smaller to the larger individuals. So the smaller ones are going to have just phased from their yellow juvenile phase into their now blue adult phase.
I originally thought there were two different fish, the yellow tang and the blue tang. It wasn't until later they realised it's the same fish with just a different colour.
And now Ian was wondering, why don't we see these juvenile yellow tangs? And it is because they like to hang in shallow waters, and they're very, very small and fast.
We do actually have one floating past us that's like very pale blue with a little yellow fringe, so that'll be like the middle phase. So we commonly see the adults like you're looking at, and the sort of teenagers, if you like, but it is really rare to see the juvenile young ones that are purely yellow. They will most likely be hiding out in the shallows. Oh, they're accepting me again.
Lauren, we can't see you anymore. Are you still there?
I've made new friends. I'm off.
Oh, man. Now, we have a really interesting question from Justin, and I think you'll like this one, Lauren. What did Finding Nemo get wrong about the ocean?
I think maybe he knows. They did get a lot wrong, and it's not necessarily wrong. It was just their method of their perception. So I think the common thing that maybe many people don't realise, very complicated question, is about the Nemo, the anemone fish themselves. So they are actually all born male. Every single egg that's born will be a boy, and later on in their life they will change to become a female. Now it's a size-based hierarchy, so the largest and biggest fish at the top is the female, the mother. So I guess when Barracuda came and ate all the eggs and killed the mother, Nemo's dad probably should have changed sex and became Nemo's mother, if you like. So I guess that's the predominant thing that the movie skipped over. But they obviously skipped over it for a reason. It's a very complicated topic, quite difficult to explain to children. So I guess that was their reason for doing it.
I definitely would have been confused if Marlin, the dad, turned into a female, I'm sure.
Can you just see all the fish that I'm just swimming in amongst right now?
Yeah, it's really, really glorious. And we can see the blue tangs are starting to spread out a little bit. And now we're getting all of these chubs, these black fish, as well as the black durgan coming.
Yeah, we do have a bit of an internal joke between the team about chubs, as we never really know what to say about them. We find them very uninteresting fish, should I say.
Yes, there are only two interesting things about chubs that we know of. One of them being that they are known to feed on the vomit and feces of dolphins.
Yes, so we are able to give you one interesting fact about the chubs.
Yes, but besides that, they just like to hang out on the top of reefs and swim around, which is great viewing. I mean, you saw how beautiful it looked.
There is a little Spanish hogfish fluttering about ahead. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get it on. Oh, yep, there it is there. Are you able to see the Spanish hogfish?
Oh, yes, that bright purple and yellow fish is a Spanish hogfish.
So we often show you the big hogfish, which is much, much bigger. This is in the same family, but yeah, this one is called the Spanish hogfish. It's a lot smaller, and it obviously has a completely different coloration, but it still does have this sort of elongated snout, which is where the name hogfish came from.
Yeah, and this hogfish normally hangs out on the reef, whereas the other hogfish will actually be on the sand. So they've filled in the gaps. They have two different feeding grounds.
This one is quite small. This one's a juvenile. They do get a little bit bigger than this, but it's a beautiful fish.
They are. And we can see his really bright colours now at the moment. They're absolutely glorious.
Can you see all those juvenile parrotfish beside it, to the left of it?
So there are the
striped parrotfish, I think.
Yeah, there are the striped parrotfish on the left. Yeah, there we go. So there will be a dominant male there, and these are probably some females that are swimming around, feeding, and they'll stick to certain territories. Oh, there is the dominant parrotfish there.
Yeah, so just like what I was explaining about Nemo, parrotfish are part of the Wrasse family, and they're all very common for changing their sex, but it's actually the other way around. They're mostly all born females, and then they will change later on in their life to males. And this change is brought on by hormonal changes within the body, and it's normally the decision is made based on social cues. So once they reach that point where they need to change, a lot of hormones in their body will change. There'll be a completely different balance between the estrogen level, and it will become a male. There will also be a coloration change, so it will go from being a completely different color. For example, the stoplight parrotfish will be like reds and browns, and it will completely change to be the most colourful blue and green fish you've ever seen.
And when these changes do occur, when a male is removed, some studies have removed the dominant male out of a group, and the dominant female that is about to change into the male starts displaying behavioral changes in the first 8 hours. It is so quick, this social trigger. Oh.
I think Rihanna's started a school of horse-hide jacks, I think.
Yeah, we can see this big school. Not sure what it is yet.
I'm not sure exactly what species it is yet, because I'm a little absolutely will be the horse-eyed jack.
And they look absolutely glorious. You can see the light reflecting on their silver scales. Yeah.
This is just scales of fish everywhere.
Yeah, and while we're swimming over, Hilk is trying to be a very good dive buddy and wants to know what your air is.
Yep, I am just a little bit less than 60 bars, so we will be wrapping it up on these horse-eyed jacks.
I mean, look how effectively they school in a circle. You can imagine as a predator how confusing this schooling behavior would be if you were trying to pinpoint one to attack. It's beautifully disorientating.
That big black eye they have. Well, horse eyes, I will have to say goodbye to you, and of course, I'll have to say goodbye to everybody watching. So thank you for tuning in. It was a fishy dive, I knew it would be, but it's been great. Considering the visibility is dramatically reduced today, it's been an amazing dive. So thank you for all your questions, and tune in again at 11 a.m. Cayman time. But for now, I'm going to do my safety stop and go back to the surface. So we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Lauren.